Welcome to the Glenn Beck program. Tonight I'm going to tell you about a civilization that I don't think you've ever heard of. If I told you that the Great Pyramids of Giza were in Ohio, you'd say, there he goes again, the crazy guy on TV. If I told you that possibly one of the greatest civilizations, as advanced as Egypt or Rome, was in St. Louis, I could offer you $1 million right now, and you'd feel pretty good. You'd be like, I'm going to be a millionaire. In a half hour, I don't think you'll take that bet. Come on, a lot to do tonight. Hello, America. Tonight and the next 3 nights, I want you to DVR this program because there is a lot to do and there's a lot to learn, and we're finding it in a whole bunch of really old, dusty books. This is a Smithsonian report from 1885 that we're going to talk about tonight. This one's from 1882. History that has been completely lost or erased. Why would I spend an hour on a news network to share this with you? Because if we don't understand our past, we're never going to be able to understand our future. And there are people that use our past or erase our past for reasons. We've got to get to the bottom of it, and we have to see if there's any pattern that we can find, any pattern at all that will help us navigate the waters that are laying ahead of us. So let me start. Instead of in history, let me start here with Nancy Pelosi today. She's now calling for an investigation into those who stand in opposition of the Ground Zero Mosque. Wait a minute, what? She wants to know how this opposition is being funded to make it a political issue. Watch.
There is no question that there is a concerted effort to make this a political issue by some. And I join those who have called for looking into how is this opposition to the mosque being funded.
Okay, so in this one story, you have religion and government coming together, I believe. For what? For power. And they're trying to tie in commerce. How can government and religion and commerce all come together? Is that something you should be concerned about? I mean, let's get beyond the surface. I mean, sure, the only way people could possibly be emotional and questioning the wisdom of building a mosque next to the site where radical Muslims killed thousands of innocent Americans would be if they were paid to care about it. Really? That doesn't make sense. And you know why? Because it isn't the truth. This isn't about the truth. Much of what's happening in America hasn't been about the truth in a long, long time. It's only been about politics. And when I say that, America, understand, I mean both the Republicans and the Democrats. It's what we're all sick of. It's why Barack Obama could win on the call for change. Because we wanted an honest conversation. We wanted real transparency. When did questions become bad or unreasonable to ask in this country? It's not reasonable to look into the beliefs of a particular group of people trying to build a mosque and dedicate it on the 10th anniversary of 9/11 at Ground Zero. That's not reasonable. It's not reasonable. You think it's more reasonable to look into the people who are questioning that than questioning and look into who's financing this very expensive mosque. How about this question? What are the beliefs of the imam behind it? What does the Cordoba project mean? Do you know? Look up Cordoba, Spain, and Islam. What does the Cordoba project mean in New York? Are there any connections to the spread of Sharia law with this particular organization? Those are reasonable questions. Americans are being pitted against each other for those who want power. We're being pitted against each other. And it's not for your purpose or my purpose. We can disagree on things, but those are reasonable questions. Republicans and Democrats, conservatives and liberals, black and white, we can all come together and search for truth. but not unless we're asking honest questions. You have to really want the answer. Not the answer you're looking for, but really want the answer. And if we don't start looking for honest answers, look, you know how I feel about Barack Obama. But do you really not think that if it turns out that he's right, that he was pretending to be a Marxist to gather up all the Marxists in one place and then get them out of the whatever the story is, if it turns out that he is all of a sudden a magic genie and the economy is fixed, do you really think that I wouldn't recognize that? You must have a very low opinion of me, and I know many do. But I would be the first to happily say that I was wrong. Why? Because it'll be good for the country. Quite honestly, it would be good for me. You don't think I know everybody says, oh, Glenn Beck makes so much money. You don't think I'd make more if we were doing well as a country? Of course. We have to have these conversations or we're never going to break out of the boxes that we are being placed in right now. Because we are. Democrats and Republicans, independents, whites, blacks, all of us being put in boxes. And we're only brought out for power. The next 3 days of this program, I want you to DVR it. I want to challenge you. I want you to learn history that you have not known, that you, quite honestly, I think you're going to be a little hacked off with, for several reasons. First, you're not going to believe me. Then you're going to say, well, hang on, as you do your own homework. Wait a minute, how come I don't know that? Then you're going to be upset at somebody else. You're going to watch this program. If I've done my homework and I've done it right, half of the audience is going to be upset at me at one part, and they'll be cheering for me in another part. They won't believe that I'm saying that, and you'll just switch places with people. That's because the truth shall set you free, but it's going to make you miserable first. Race relations and civil rights in America for the next 3 days. You will learn things that you didn't know. No matter which side of the aisle you happen to be on, you'll be hacked off in a few minutes of this program, I guarantee it. But I want you to remember a phrase, and it's this: no pain, no gain. I know you've heard it before. You have to push yourself physically, and it makes your muscles hurt. No pain, no gain. Why? Because as you're pushing, they tear your muscles, and then they grow back stronger than they were before. Clearly, I don't live by that motto in the physical sense, but I do in another sense. I push myself. I read things that, excuse my language, piss me off. I read things and I actually seriously consider them. I try to prove them. I don't hire a bunch of yes people on my staff. I hire no people, but open-minded no people. Yes, believe it or not, I have liberals, and some of my best friends are liberals, but they're honest and they challenge me. I like that. I want to know the truth. Our understanding of America has to be challenged. If we're going to get out of this, we have to challenge what we think we know. We have to push our understanding of America farther than it has ever gone before in order for it to grow, expand, and become stronger. At the end of your journey, you will either hate America or you will know why you love America. That should be your goal. My search for that, to expand my understanding, came from a couple of things. First of all, the first thing that I wondered was, how the heck did we get here? How did we get here? How is it that we're in a country that had all this great history, and now we're at each other's throats, we're broke? How did we get here? Second question, why are there so many people that are Americans that hate America? We can't both be right. Or can we? When you truly try to find answers to these questions, you're going to come across some things in America's past that won't exactly make you spontaneously erupt in singing Lee Greenwood songs. But you'll also be equally amazed at how it all came together, the brilliance and the power behind it. They're not mutually exclusive. It's the same story of America, just two sides of it, two different time periods, two different phases that come and go. But so many people don't know our history, and that's why it puts them into one of a few groups. First group is people who just love America, and they wave the flag and they shout USA, 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 but they don't really even know the history. They don't know why. They refuse to look at well, you don't know about America, but they refuse to look at the dark side of America. They just love it. There's nothing wrong with this innocent love of your country, except when it's in trouble. It's of no help. It's of no use. You have to know why you love it. Then there's another group of people that think America is just nothing but a greedy, evil empire. Now these people, they just hate it for no reason. Not all of them. They just hate it. But do they know? Are they willing to look at the good side? Do you know that Frederick Douglass, he hated the Constitution. He thought the Constitution was a bad thing. He thought it enslaved people until he read it. Then he came out and he had to apologize. And he said, my gosh, this is the greatest thing ever. That is honest questioning. Then I think there's a small percentage, I don't know, maybe it's growing, maybe 30%? Of people in America that just live here and they don't care. They could be in Sweden, they could be in Canada. They don't care. They're apathetic, they're clueless. Those people are trouble. Because you got to believe in something. They'll just swing with the wind. I think the good news is there's a growing segment of people out there who are following me on a journey and following others on a journey, and they're learning. They're learning history. And they understand that America was not perfect and is not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. Do you feel it? You're coming out of your childlike love for America, and you're becoming an adult. You can recognize, yes, horrible things have happened in this country. But you can also recognize with a better understanding of the good things that happen. You realize that America had bad mistakes in its past, but it's still the best thing out there. I wanted to make sure that I wasn't in one of the first groups. I was in the last groups. Well, there's an important part of history. An important part of history that I hadn't really looked at. And it is the whole civil rights thing, because you think you know what it is. You think. You've heard the stories. I mean, some guys signed a document on a certain date, and, you heard about the men who risked being publicly hanged or losing their homes and their families. They lost every dime they had. Then you've heard stories about slavery. Then you heard stories about the chance of freedom and Abraham Lincoln. History is a story of individuals all throughout time. But until you start to connect those stories and look for patterns. And the pattern is man's struggle to be free from an oppressor, whether it is Jews in Egypt or the Americans against the British or the African Americans against the slave owner. History is not a collection of dates and names. It is the story of who we are. Who we were, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So, how did America, the people we are now, arrive here? Well, I believe it was through divine providence. But I also believe it's through manifest destiny. If you think those two things are the same, they're not. Divine providence and manifest destiny. One is good, one is really, really evil. You see, I happen to believe in good and evil. I believe in God and Satan. You may not. You may just think good and bad. But if you do, will you go with me down this road for a second? Have you ever noticed that Satan never destroys things? He instead perverts them. He corrupts them. He corrupts the soul. Dare I say, fundamentally transforms things. He didn't go in. He could have gone in and tried to pulverize Adam and Eve, kill them. But he didn't. He didn't. No, he instead tricked them. He deceived them and allowed them to corrupt themselves. Manifest destiny is a perversion of divine providence. Let me show you. This is my theory we're working on in the next couple of days. Here's my theory. My theory is, when a man tries to live in accordance with nature's God and nature's law, as it's spelled out in the Declaration of Independence, and works for the betterment of man, and the individual, that free you, God helps. However, when man seeks power and riches by using nature's God or nature's laws in conjunction with others seeking the same power and riches, God withdraws, and evil masquerades as good. It's the perversion. Pervert it. So, divine providence happened here. This is what was happening in America between 1740 and 1830. The beginning of the end, I think, was Andrew Jackson. This is a theory. Right now, there's history professors like, I don't know, what? We'll get into Andrew Jackson at some other date. Oh yeah, it'll be another ratings bonanza. Until the founders started dying off, they recognized what they had accomplished. And they recognized that it wasn't because of them. George Washington, they all said things like this. Washington said, "No people can be bound to acknowledge and adore the invisible hand which conducts the affairs of men more than those of the United States." They all said something like that God had a hand in it. Why? Divine providence works like this. You just try to do the right thing. You try to live your life. You're just trying to make the world a better place. But just with you, you're trying to do, and all of a sudden you'll start to see people, you'll start gathering people. And then somebody will say, "Did you see that? How did that happen?" That's a miracle. That's that's divine providence. That's God helping you along. Manifest destiny is get out of my way or the highway, because I'm on a mission from God. That is manifest destiny. That's Woodrow Wilson. That's Andrew Jackson. That's not George Washington. It's different. Now, Jackson, I want you to understand, manifest destiny wasn't named manifest destiny until 1845, but Andrew Jackson, I think, was the seed. He was the guy throwing the seeds in the ground. Manifest destiny, it's less of walking humbly and praying for guidance. It's mission from God stuff. We're doing it whether you like it or not. Manifest destiny. It was used to justify some unbelievably horrible things to people, such as Native Americans. Native Americans. Here's a book. This one's from 1885. This talks about the mysterious similarities between mounds in America, Indians, and the Chinese. This one says that there are similarity to ancient artifacts from other parts of the world and the American Indian, but they have no idea what it even means. This one is ancients. This one's from 1883, I think, 1891. This one is just about how the Indians are ancient. They're not savages. But most of this stuff was erased and hidden. And I'm going to show you some things in a few minutes that will boggle your mind. Get ready to flex your American knowledge muscles. And oh yeah, manifest destiny helped justify the expansion into the West. Why? What does this mean? You know what this is? You might remember this in history books as a kid. This is Columbia. Here she has the wire, and they're laying the railroad, and they're moving out west. Okay? This is manifest destiny. God is leading the way. Well, who did they take the land from? How did this all happen? It's the same formula. I've been looking for the last, few years for patterns in history. Show me the patterns, because they always repeat themselves. History repeats itself, so what are the patterns? Well, here's the recipe for transformation. And this is either a good thing, this half is bad. This can be a really good thing. When a country has science, for instance, Ben Franklin, huge into science. He was the leading scientist in the world in his day. Government, this is Thomas Jefferson. Commerce, Alexander Hamilton. Religion was Sam Adams. When you combine these things and they're checks on each other, you're okay. But once these things start to collude for power, that's manifest destiny, and it is evil. When you have, for instance, the government wanting to expand, commerce saying, well, we're going to expand too because we need to make more money, we need more land, and you get the scientists to confirm that Native Americans are just savages, and religion playing their role, saying, yeah, the sons of Noah, some people aren't quite human. When you have this colluding for power, you're in trouble. My thesis is, you want to know how this happened? This country went wrong, I think, at the death of our founders. Now, we have had periods of brilliance, periods of awakening and enlightenment. Abraham Lincoln is one of them. Awakening and enlightenment. That is our goal. What sets off that period of awakening and enlightenment? What happened? What happened to the Indians? What happened to the Chinese? What happened to the African American? How did all of this happen? Is our country, are we just a bunch of racists? Is that all we are? No, it's much different than that. Next, things you will not believe you didn't know. Next.
Gordon Liddy here for Roslyn Capital. Like you, I'm worried about the falling U.S. dollar. Experts are calling this economic crisis the worst since the Great Depression. The Fed is printing money faster than ever to pay for Wall Street bailouts on our $10 trillion debt. You don't have to watch your hard-earned savings shrink to nothing. Invest in gold. I got into gold 10 years ago. It's the smartest move I ever made. During tough economic times, gold is the time-tested currency that goes up, not down. Buy your gold where I buy mine. Roslyn Capital, the most respected and trusted source for advice on gold. So call them at 1-800-891-2341 and get the facts, like how to have a gold-backed IRA. Listen to that. That's the sound of security. That's the sound of gold from Roslyn Capital.
When you look in the mirror, can you imagine erasing years of aging?
That's what I used to look like.
Lifestyle Lift takes only about an hour. See the difference immediately.
I'm Linda. I'm 70 years old. Can you believe it?
Call now for a free information kit. It's quick, affordable, and takes only about an hour. Lifestyle Lift, a breakthrough medical procedure that helps remove wrinkles, frown lines, and sagging skin. Call now for a free information kit. Consultations are free. Call Lifestyle Lift today.
If you have diabetes and you're on Medicare, call now to get the new talking meter and enjoy pain-free testing. These new meters are more accurate, they're easier to use, and the best news is you don't have to prick your fingers anymore. Call now and Arriva Medical will send you one of these new meters for free.
Your blood glucose reading is 122 milligrams per deciliter.
And if you have Medicare, your testing supplies may also be covered. Arriva makes it simple. They bill Medicare directly. There are no upfront costs. And they deliver your supplies right to your door. for free.
And if you call 1-800-704-1967, we'll send you a free Betty Crocker Diabetes Cookbook filled with delicious recipes. That's 1-800-704-1967.
Call Arriva today. You'd be glad you did.
The Ground Zero mosque controversy. As tempers flare and the debate intensifies, what does America really want near the hallowed ground? Frank Luntz takes the pulse of the people tonight on Hannity.
There's a new TV channel that takes you closer. Nat Geo Wild. We're getting this close is just part of the job. On Nat Geo Wild's new series, Swamp Men, danger is close by every day. Encountering over 1,600 animals that charge, strike, and snap.
If you lose focus out here, you're in trouble.
Swamp Men, Monday at 8 on the all-new TV network Nat Geo Wild. Get closer on Channel 108.
Introducing Luna's free installation sale. For a limited time, get free flooring installation for your entire home. Plus, get free financing, free pad upgrade, free flooring removal, and free measuring. And you'll have peace of mind with Luna's low price guarantee and lifetime installation warranty. No matter how many rooms you have, installation is absolutely free. Hurry, this sale won't last. Call today. With Luna, there's more to love for less.
877-241 Luna.
All right. For the next couple of nights, we are going to talk about the civil rights movement, but not in the way that anybody else, I think, has ever done it before. We're going to talk about the history of race relations in our country. And this is only the beginning. This isn't the end-all, be-all by any stretch of the imagination. You have to do your own homework. These are just some of the things that puzzle me. We're going to start with the founders and the American native. The prevailing wisdom about Native Americans was that they were primitive savages, an inferior intellect. That's what we started getting to in the 1800s. We've heard of scalpings before, and you think that scalping, that was just an Indian reference. Yes, Indians did scalp people, but many times, not exclusively, but many times they did it because people paid them. Not that it justifies it, but that's what it was. The English paid the Mohegans for the heads of the Pequots. I think it's interesting that they both have casinos next to each other now, the Mohegans and the Pequots. The Dutch paid for wampum for Raritan heads. The English soldiers scalped each other. Even Puritan ministers would scalp to make money. But they're just a bunch of heathen savages. That was a line that came into play. It was eventual justification for pushing Indians off their land. That really didn't play a role until commerce and government started to collude. However, not everybody thought Indians were primitive savages with no brains. George Washington loved the Indians. Thomas Jefferson had a very different view of Native Americans. In 1784, he dug out on his property a 12-foot high mound. It was something that he couldn't figure out. He found several complex layers of burials. He concluded that the mound was the work of Indian ancestors. Jefferson began to ponder this, and he believed that the Indians possibly came, in his words, from Egypt or Asia. He looked at some of the ancient writings. He compared them. He was fascinated with language. He compared Egyptian and Indian. He started to say, well, you know what? They're not as primitive as everybody thinks. Well, Jefferson, in many circles towards the late part of the 1700s, was attacked for his beliefs. He was called a howling atheist because of some of them. But John Adams was not one of them. John Adams and Thomas Jefferson did have a dispute on the American native, but it wasn't that they weren't savages. In their famous correspondence that happened in later years, they talked about the Native American and discussed James Adair's intriguing theory that the Indians were descendant from Jews because they had, according to Thomas Jefferson and Adair, the same laws, the same ceremonies, the same sacrifice, the same priests, prophets, and fast. Even the Indian dialect seemed derived from a common prototype of the Hebrew Bible. So they didn't brush off the Native American as wild animals. They were intrigued. Thomas Jefferson sent Lewis and Clark out. Part of it was he wanted to see the burial mounds, find out what those are. Now, in the beginning, Jefferson was an outspoken advocate for Indian sovereignty. In 1793, he wrote, "The Indians had the full, undivided, and independent sovereignty as long as they chose to keep it, and that just might be forever." 2 years later, he added, "It may be taken for a certainty that not a foot of land will be taken from the Indians without their consent." Unfortunately, later, when commerce and government started to collude, when America needed land, things changed. By early 1800s, Jefferson sought ways to get Indians off their land without force. His first idea was to let the Indians, see if this sounds like a familiar tactic, let the Indians get deeply in debt, and then when they couldn't pay, they'd have no choice but to concede the land. Does history repeat itself? Jefferson's other idea was intermarriage. He told visiting Indians that we will unite with you. You can join in our great councils and form one people with us, and we shall all be Americans. You will mix with us by marriage. Your blood will run in our veins, and we will spread with us over this great land, this great island. That plan wasn't a big hit with a lot of people. It wasn't long before anti-Indian sentiment had reached a fever pitch because, remember, commerce and government started to go into collusion. So Jefferson put a motion into plan to remove Indians from the East. Jefferson was long gone before it finally happened, but it was Jefferson who got the ball rolling on Americans' future policy for Native Americans. Now, what would you say would have happened if Jefferson would have been proved right at the time? That Indians there was more to Indians than just their hunting skill. Would things in America look differently today? Did anybody try to thwart, in science, did anybody try to thwart that? And why? Archaeologists now think that those Native Americans were, dare I say, fairly advanced, possibly being able to extract iron and copper as well as mine it and then carry it great distances to trade it. If we knew that at the time, would we have treated Indians any better? They definitely deserved better, especially when you see the history that has been erased by science and the Smithsonian. Coming up.
I'm often asked the question, is investing in gold right for me? In fact, many people think that owning gold is only for the wealthy, but you can own gold with a minimal investment. It's easy to own gold. At Goldline, our clients invest in physical gold, not gold stocks or gold funds. Call Goldline and talk with an account executive who can answer your questions and discuss the available gold products, like our popular European coins or Proof American coins. Your gold is then shipped directly to you, or we will arrange storage for you. Goldline has been helping investors acquire precious metals since 1960, and we work with new clients every day who have decided that it's time to invest in gold. Isn't it time that you consider gold? I invite you to join the thousands of hardworking, satisfied clients who have chosen Goldline to help diversify by investing in gold. Call Goldline now and receive a free investor's kit and the American Advisor newsletter. Our account executives are here 6 days a week to serve you. Give us a call today.
Paid spokesperson.
Exposure to asbestos in the workplace has made thousands of people sick with mesothelioma, a fatal cancer, not diagnosed until years after asbestos exposure. If you've been diagnosed with mesothelioma or asbestos-related lung cancer, call the Johnson Law Group. Find help, hope, and justice for mesothelioma victims. Call the Johnson Law Group.
Call 1-800-222-2929.
Visiting Angels understands there's no comfort like the comfort of home. That's why we provide personalized care that comes to you for help with simple daily activities and affordable home care services up to 24 hours per day. And since you choose your own angel from our experienced caregivers, you'll find a qualified helping hand you can trust. Visiting Angels offers the quality life you want and the peace of mind you deserve.
Visiting Angels, America's choice in home care.
Hi, I'm Fred Thompson. And you know, if you're like a lot of folks out there lately, then finances might be a little tight. Well, maybe it doesn't have to be that way. Because if you're 62 years or older and own your own home, then join hundreds of thousands of other Americans who have used a reverse mortgage as a safe, effective financial tool. A government-insured reverse mortgage allows seniors to stay in their own home and to turn their equity into tax-free cash without any monthly mortgage payments. You ought to call my friends at AAG. They could help you or your parents right now. And to find out more is absolutely free.
Call 1-800-799-5222 now to receive your free DVD and brochure with absolutely no obligation.
Find out how much cash you may qualify for. Call AAG today.
Call 1-800-799-5222 now to get your free Better Life information pack. That's 1-800-799-5222.
AAG. Best advice for a better life.
If you're using salt to soften your water, here are some facts you need to know. A salt softener removes the beneficial minerals of calcium and magnesium from the water, replacing them with 2 times the amount of sodium. Does that sound healthy to you? Now you can eliminate most of your hard water problems without salt and keep the good minerals in your water. Easy Water is a water conditioner that does not use salt. It's maintenance-free and can save you money. Call 1-888-7-NO-SALT or go to easywater.com.
My girl's perfect in every way. Bought her a ring for that special day. Everything was going great, I'd say, till she saw how much I had to pay.
Don't get soaked paying double. The Jewelry Exchange has thousands of GIA and EGL certified diamonds at the guaranteed lowest price. With setting and sizing while you watch. Save up to 80% buying factory direct.
At the Jewelry Exchange.
Online or in store.
I'm Harris Faulkner. The papers are filed. General Motors submitting documents to become a public company again and shrink down the government stake in the company. The automaker filing for an initial public offering today. The South Carolina mother accused of killing her 2 baby boys and staging an accident to cover it up in court for the first time. No bail set. Shaquan Dooley's attorney saying she is remorseful. And no regrets from President Obama over commenting on the so-called Ground Zero mosque. He inserted himself into the debate over whether to let Muslims build near the World Trade Center site. For more on these stories, go to foxnews.com. Glenn Beck returns in a moment. First, Brett with a look at Special Report.
Hi, Harris. Coming up, the House Speaker weighs in on the mosque controversy and causes her own stir. And the president tries to deal with sinking numbers on how he's handling the economy. Join me in 25 minutes for Special Report. But now, back to Glenn Beck in New York.
I want to show you some things that I don't think you even knew existed. It goes against everything Manifest Destiny teaches about Native Americans. And I want you to know this part of our history because people erased it. And we'll get to that later on in the program. Erased it intentionally. That's an important part of it. America's history didn't begin with Christopher Columbus came over. There were ancient cities with advanced architectures all across North America. Did you know that? Hundreds of years before Columbus came. We always think, oh, the Indians, they didn't scar the land. No, not true. These were cities as large as any in the world at the time. London or Rome, they were metropolises. Archaeologists say they have found evidence of 200,000 actual cities of mound-like structures all across North America that were here long before Columbus. But we don't know anything about them. Why? Why? Especially when you hear what you're about to hear. I want to show you 3 incredible examples of these Indian mounds that were discovered. But before I show you this, I want you to ask these questions. Was Jackson right? Andrew Jackson, Manifest Destiny, the beginning of that. Was he right that the Native Americans were savages? Or was Jefferson right that there was something going on here that we don't even understand? Maybe they were descendants of Egyptians or Jews, or maybe they were from Asia. Where were these people from? But they weren't savages. I want you to take a look at this. This is going to blow your mind. See this here? First, let me show you the Great Pyramid of Giza. You've seen this, one side of the Great Pyramid of Giza. If you measure it, it is from the bottom to the apex 606 feet. That's important. That's an ancient unit of measurement. It's referred to as the stade. Now I want to show you this. These are the Newark earthworks. They're here in Ohio. Yes, Ohio. The earthworks are made, they're structures that are made now of earth that has been built up from the ground in a perfect circle. Here it is, a perfect circle and a perfect octagon. But they were built by the ancient Hopewell civilization. They date back from 300 BC to 400 AD. So let's look at these structures here. Bring this up. I want to show you something. If you square the inside of the octagon, here's a square and here's a square. If you square it, this is what surveyors do when they're measuring. They square the circle, and then they divide that area into 4 equal parts, or cubes, and then you find that each cube is made up of 606 feet, 606 feet, 606 feet, 606 feet. 606. It's made up of stades. Exactly the same. Now, if that's not interesting enough, look at the angle of the Great Pyramid of Giza. If you take the angle of the Great Pyramid of Giza, the slope is 51.8 degrees. Let's go back to the earthworks. If you measure the line that goes straight through the center of the structure, right here, and then you go true north, it's 51.8 degrees. That angle is exactly the same angle as the pyramids of Giza. It is the same math, the same calculations as ancient Egyptians. Let me show you one more connection. In 1860, David Wyrick, he's a guy who surveyed the Newark earthworks. He was digging into a mound near those earthworks, and he found a wooden coffin made of oak. They opened up the coffin and found a skeleton of a man holding a little box that was about 8.10 inches in size. The box had been cemented shut here. This, by the way, is sitting in Ohio. Well, he opened up the box and he found a little man inside, a little black stone. They took it to scholars and they looked at it. The man seems to be carrying something, and there's writing here at first they couldn't recognize. The writing is, they thought in 1860, some sort of Hebrew. Well, finally, about 20 years later, they found some rabbis living in the area, and the rabbis looked at that, and they could read it. They said it was an old kind of block Hebrew, and it was a rendition of the 10 Commandments. Now, this is another piece. Block Hebrew, they said they'd never seen anything like it. Mainstream archaeologists at the time called this a hoax. But then in 1900, or just about after 1900, in Israel, they found the same block-style Hebrew writing. Mainstream archaeologists still dismissed the findings. They found it in Israel, and they found it in Ohio. But there was another stone that they found that they couldn't argue. This is the Bat Creek stone. It was found during the course of an official Smithsonian evacuation. The Smithsonian didn't understand the meaning of the writing on the stone. They thought it was Cherokee, since it came from Cherokee country. They didn't realize that it's actually Hebrew. They had published this originally upside down. They threw it in a box at the bottom of the Smithsonian, put it in the basement. Many years later, a scholar took it out of the box, looked at it, and went, oh my gosh, It's upside down. It's Phoenician, ancient Hebrew. So what's going on here? What is that about? Where is that history? I'll show you in a few minutes, and we're going to have a conversation. I'm going to show you some more things that the Smithsonian, science, government, commerce colluded to erase. By the way, I want to thank the directors of the documentary Lost Civilizations of North America for bringing these stories to my attention. I was blown away. To find more, visit the website lostcivilizationdvd.com. Here's the thing we should be asking ourselves. I don't know the story of these. Do you know that? Did you know that? Do you live in Ohio and did you know that? Why not? Were the American Indians wronged? Yes. Yes. And that's what we focus on in America. Is we were bad to the American Indians. Forget about it. It's in the past. The question should be the ones that the founders asked. Who are they? What knowledge do they have? Can you imagine the difference we would have now if we would put our differences aside and put our past in the past and concentrate on today and say, let's learn from each other. What do you have? What is that? What is that? When we come back, I'm going to be joined by Peter Lilback, who is, I've told you before, is one of my favorite authors. He's going to talk to me a little bit about the founders here. And I'm also going to show you some documents that show how that history has been erased. Next.
Are all births created equal? Ann Coulter and the fine print behind the so-called anchor baby boom. Then Dick Morris and the political fireworks surrounding the mosque controversy. Plus, what's he really saying about religious freedom? Body Language takes a closer look. Tonight on The Factor.
Are you being audited? Have you not filed tax returns for years? Has the IRS come to your home or place of business? The IRS will relentlessly pursue you for unpaid taxes. I'm Patrick Cox, founder of Taxmasters. The former IRS agents and tax professionals at Taxmasters will solve your tax problems. We'll get between you and the IRS. We'll make sure they treat you fairly and treat you with respect. Don't wait weeks for an appointment. Call us today. We'll get started today. Taxmasters, we solve your tax problems. Call 800-581-0458.
Right now, someone may be searching for you. Go to mylife.com, the internet's leading people search site. Just type in your name and see if someone is searching for you right now for free. Could be anyone. Past loves, colleagues, old school friends. At mylife.com, there are millions of unclaimed messages. You could have messages waiting for you right now. Go to mylife.com, type in your name, and see if someone is searching for you right now for free.
When you look in the mirror, can you imagine erasing years of aging?
That's what I used to look like.
Lifestyle Lift takes only about an hour. See the difference immediately.
I'm Linda. I'm 70 years old. Can you believe it?
Call now for a free information kit. It's quick, affordable, and takes only about an hour. Lifestyle Lift, a breakthrough medical procedure that helps remove wrinkles, frown lines, and sagging skin. Call now for a free information kit. Consultations are free. Call Lifestyle Lift today.
Federal and state authorities urge every American family to have an emergency radio. It can save your life. Now Newsmax has an incredible offer for you. Get this emergency radio for free. The World Band Emergency Radio is durable, picks up all major frequencies. It even works without batteries. Essential in an emergency. You'll receive this emergency radio plus 2 great publications, all for free, including the award-winning Newsmax magazine. Each month, Newsmax brings you the stories you won't get anywhere else without the media spin. Plus, you'll see great writers like Ben Stein, Michael Reagan, Kathleen Parker, Dr. Laura, David Limbaugh, and many others. Ben Stein says Newsmax reveals the unafraid, uncomplicated, bare-knuckles truth about today's dangerous world. Michael Reagan says, I guarantee that you'll love Newsmax magazine. This free emergency radio offer with Newsmax won't last, so go online to Newsmax.com or call 800-NEWSMAX and get this valuable offer today.
This is an urgent message for all individuals with extremely large credit card debt. No matter how much you owe on your credit cards, you could reduce your debt by up to half and get one simple low monthly payment. And right now, you have the opportunity to hear how low your monthly payment could be for free. To discover what your creditors don't want you to know, call Debt OK for vital free information at 1-800-506-1060. I repeat, if you have extremely large credit card debt, you now have the ability to reduce your total debt and get one simple low monthly payment. This could allow you to become debt-free faster than you ever thought possible, but you must act quickly. Call Debt OK now to learn how much you could save. Again, for vital free information your creditors don't want you to know, call Debt OK, 1-800-506-1060, 1-800-506-1060, 1-800-506-1060.
Weekends. Judge Napolitano is on the case, policing big government, exposing bureaucrats, safeguarding your rights.
From Capitol happenings to Supreme Court surprises, we're in the middle of it all.
Freedom Watch with Judge Napolitano on Fox Business.
This is the Smithsonian Annual Report, 1882, 1883. This is John Wesley Howell. This is an original copy. John Wesley Howell in 1789. Again, Powell. This is the director of the Bureau of Ethnology at the Smithsonian Institute. He said this. Artifacts found prior to Christopher Columbus's arrival would be considered illegitimate by the Smithsonian. Only the savage Indian culture would be observed, and this created the artificial barrier to science. Only the savage. Science was colluding with government because of commerce, and religion was involved. Now, why do I tell you all this stuff? Not because I'm an Indian expert or anything else. You got to do your own homework. I just found out about this stuff. I'm amazed by it. I don't know what the answer is on this. The reason why I bring it up is the stock is not bad. The soup went bad, but the stock is not. Peter Lilback, Dr. Peter Lilback. How are you, sir?
Good to see you.
This is a book that needs to be owned by every American. Every single American should have this book in their home. It's called Sacred Fire. These are the words of George Washington, and it takes history absolutely apart. Not on somebody's opinion, but on their own words, on his words. Peter, I want to go to you and talk to you a little bit about, again, the stock. George Washington had a good relationship. Our founders had a good relationship with the Native Americans, right?
There's no question about that. When they came to America, they realized they could not survive without a close relationship with the Indian people. The greatest story, for example, is the Pilgrims who are blown off course. 800 miles out of their destination in Virginia, they're in Massachusetts. They land on ground, and they're in the middle of nowhere, no government. They make the Mayflower Compact, so they have government when they land. And there's no Native Americans there because a plague had gone through, but one person shows up. He happens to be a Native American that knew English. He had actually been taken captive to England. He'd learned English. He'd gotten his freedom. He came back, his people were gone. The white settlers are there all of a sudden, and he meets them and he says, "Welcome." He speaks English. They couldn't believe it. The providence of that moment is extraordinary. They needed help, and there was a person there to help them, and he was a Native American.
Right.
And that creates Massachusetts.
All right. Do I have time for one more story real quick? No? Okay. Hang on, because I want to come back and talk about, William Penn. Because William Penn said something when he was working with the Indians that is critical to understand the truth, I think, about America. And we'll do that next.
Sometimes you have only one opportunity to insure your assets before disaster strikes. And how will you protect your investments? Gold. Call now 800 214-8271 and Lear will send you a free comprehensive report on the markets and today's best gold buys. Over the last 5 years, gold has outperformed the markets, and some experts believe the best is yet to come. Gold is easy to buy, easy to sell, it has never been worth zero, and the timing may never be better. Call 800-214-8271 for your free gold investment report on today's best gold buys, and also receive Lear's special CD, Using Gold to Protect and Grow Your Nest Egg. Gold, the smart choice for today's investor. Call now, 800-214-8271.
Water damage strikes fast. So do we. When you call the cleanup specialist at 1-800-SERVPRO. Like it never even happened.
Diamonds, half carat to 2 carat, are $299 to $19.90. Thousands of diamonds, guaranteed the lowest price. The latest designer styles, guaranteed to appraise for double, set while you watch. Plus no interest for 6 months. By Factory Direct, the jewelry exchange nationwide and online.
Sarah Palin takes Greta on her tour of the last frontier, Alaska. Does the state hold the key to America's energy woes? Don't miss part 3 of On the Record special series tonight.
Before making your next luxury vehicle purchase, consider Sheehy Lexus of Annapolis, the #1 Lexus dealer in the country in customer satisfaction. And for the past 7 consecutive years, winner of the prestigious Elite of Lexus Award. It is our passion to provide you with a world-class ownership experience. And this pursuit has earned us the distinction of being the only Lexus benchmark service dealer in the Baltimore-Annapolis area. Make the short drive to Annapolis today or visit sheehy.com.
We have the power to keep a slot parlor out of Arundel Mills Mall. Against slots at the mall? Vote against Question A. The Arundel Mills Mall is a family-friendly environment, and a slots parlor just doesn't belong there. Let's use a common-sense location where gambling already occurs that creates more jobs and more revenue in a place gamblers won't mix with mall shoppers and kids. Against slots at the mall? Vote against Question A.
Rockstar Energy Drink Uproar Festival, featuring Disturbed and Avenged Sevenfold. Coming to a city near you with Stone Sour and Hailstorm. Bring a Rockstar Energy Drink can to gain early VIP entry to the festival area starting at $3.50 to see Hell Yeah, plus wrestling, Midway, and more. Disturbed, Avenged Sevenfold, Stone Sour, and more. Get local ticket information at livenation.com.
Every family has a journey.
My mom shipped me and my brother to my dad's for the summer.
Every love has a beginning.
Home has made me feel like you do.
The Last Song. Watch the latest movies. Find them here in your on-demand menu. Watch anytime with Xfinity from Comcast.
Order this movie in HD. It's easy. Just press Channel 1 or On Demand. Find movies and press OK Select. Select all new movies, then your movie. Then buy. Enjoy the show.
The history that has been erased in our nation, and in particular with the Native Americans, happened because it didn't fit the story they created, Manifest Destiny. It only works when Indians were savages, and they had to have savages for commerce and government to expand. The ancient artifacts prove otherwise. Why aren't we looking into those? Peter Lilback is the president of Providence Forum and the author of George Washington's Sacred Fire. Okay, Peter. I think a great place for Americans to understand the truth about Americans and Native Americans and African Americans, all of it. It comes from William Penn. Tell the story.
Great story. Philadelphia, the great founding city of the United States. That's where government began. It was founded by William Penn. He wanted a city without walls. And he determined that he would do it by making a constant commitment to justice and ethics with the Native Americans. There never was an Indian war with William Penn. And there's a wonderful treaty that still exists that describes the commitment they made. And it says this: there are good people and bad people among all people. There are good and bad Indians. There are good and bad Christians. That's what he called them in Philadelphia. And he said, we must come together so that we will address these problems that will come with respect and by communication, affirming the good.
That's where we need to be. There are good among us and bad among us. There are good Americans, bad Americans. There's good parts of America. There are bad parts of America. The American story. We've got to come together as the good people, stand together and guard against the bad so we can live in a country without walls. Peter, thank you very much. Back in a minute.
Gordon Liddy here for Roslyn Capital. Like you, I'm worried about the falling U.S. dollar. Experts are calling this economic crisis the worst since the Great Depression. The Fed is printing money faster than ever to pay for Wall Street bailouts and our $10 trillion debt. You don't have to watch your hard-earned savings shrink to nothing. Invest in gold. I got into gold 10 years ago. It's the smartest move I ever made. During tough economic times, gold is the time-tested currency that goes up, not down. Buy your gold where I buy mine. Roslyn Capital, the most respected and trusted source for advice on gold. So call them at 1-800-891-2341 and get the facts, like how to have a gold-backed IRA. Listen to that. That's the sound of security. That's the sound of gold from Roslyn Capital.
If anyone depends on you, listen to this important message. 3 out of 4 Americans know they need life insurance, and many who have it know they don't have enough. Sound like you? How would your family get by without you? Would they lose their home or their dreams of a good education? They don't have to. You can guarantee those you love $200,000, $500,000, $750,000 or more with life insurance through Matrix Direct. We'll help you get more for your money, up to 75% more. Just look, less than $14 a month buys a 40-year-old man a $250,000 term life policy. That's up to 3 times what you can get from other companies for the same price. No wonder millions of Americans have already contacted Matrix Direct. The call is free, the quote is free, and there's no obligation. Make the future more secure for those you love. Call now so you can sleep better at night.
For free information, call 800-239-5215 or visit matrixdirect.com. That's 800-239-5215 or matrixdirect.com.
Your bottled water costs can really add up. Now Zero Water provides a solution, a new patented way to filter your tap water. Conventional filters have only 1 or 2 stages. Zero Water has 5 stages, so it removes virtually all the dissolved solids that can make your tap water taste different. Test your tap water, even other filter pitchers. Only Zero Water reads all zeros, just like purified water. Get the only 5-stage system with Zero Water at Target and Bed Bath & Beyond.
Tomorrow, don't miss these top stories in the Wall Street Journal.
I'm Kelly Evans. People gamble on cards, dice, and dogs, but would you gamble on your grades? Students at several colleges may soon get the chance. And expect more new products at Starbucks coffee shops as the chain tests them before deciding whether to sell them at grocery stores. Plus, airlines are ramping up offers to buy frequent flyer miles. But are the deals worth it? For more and to follow these stories, pick up a paper on newsstands or go to WSJ.com.
Now, it's time to go beyond secondhand sound bites and discover the #1 source for in-depth coverage that will keep you informed and prepared. The Wall Street Journal. Call 888-GET-WSJ1 for daily delivery, 24/7 updates at WSJ.com, and mobile access, all included when you subscribe now. Just $19.95 for daily delivery, 24/7 updates at WSJ.com, and mobile access. Call now, 888-GET-WSJ1.
To expand our own understanding of America, good, bad, and ugly, with the civil rights movement tomorrow and Friday. And then we'll see you down at the mall in Washington, D.C. on 8/28. Don't miss it. History in the making from New York. Good night, America.